All right, welcome. Today we're tackling something that's all about precision, all about trust, financial auditing. Now, if you're picturing an accountant just buried under piles and piles of paper, go ahead and forget that. We're talking about a massive shift, a real transformation. It's all about how AI is giving auditors this incredible new superpower, the ability to see, well, everything. So, let me ask you something. How would you check 1 million transactions for just one single mistake? I mean, really think about it. You've got this huge company, right? Millions of things happening every day, invoices, payments, you name it. And your job is to find that one needle in a haystack. Where do you even start? That's the enormous challenge auditors are up against today.
And this really lays out the problem perfectly. It's a total mismatch. On one hand, you've got the old way of doing things, the traditional audit. It's slow, it's manual, and you're only looking at tiny little samples of data. But on the other hand, you've got modern business, which is like a fire hose of data. It's nonstop, it's real time, and it's always changing. The old tools, they just can't handle it. Not even close.
Okay, so let's dig into that. Section 1 is all about auditing's big data problem. We're going to talk about why looking at the past through a tiny little keyhole just doesn't work anymore. Okay, for a long time, auditing has been all about something called sampling. Think of it like this. Your auditor is a super detective at a crime scene, but they're only allowed to look at, say, 5% of the clues. That's it. They're just hoping that tiny sample gives them the whole story. But what about the other 95%? Well, that just gets ignored. It's left completely unchecked. And that, right there, is a massive blind spot where all sorts of risks could be hiding. And that's the real danger, isn't it? When you're only looking at a tiny piece of the puzzle, you're basically gambling. You're hoping that nothing big, what they call a material misstatement, slips through the cracks. It could be an honest mistake, sure. Or it could be fraud. Either way, it's a huge gap in that armor of financial trust we all rely on. But what if you could close that gap? What if you could give our detectives a brand new tool? A tool that lets them analyze all the evidence, every single clue, in minutes instead of weeks. Well, that's exactly where AI steps in. This is Section 2, the AI Superpower Toolkit. So what are we really talking about when we say AI in auditing? It's pretty straightforward, actually. It's about using intelligent systems to do the things that, frankly, humans just can't. Analyzing every single transaction without missing a beat, automatically flagging things that look risky, and just taking care of all those boring, repetitive tasks with a speed and precision that is, well, it's basically superhuman. This whole AI upgrade really boils down to 3 powerful steps. Step 1, analyze everything. No more sampling, which means no more blind spots. Gone. Step 2, predict risks. It uses all that data to see where trouble might be brewing before it actually becomes a problem. And step 3, automate reports. It handles the boring stuff, which frees up the actual human auditors to do the hard thinking, the strategy, the judgment. And this right here, this is the biggest deal, 100%. We are moving from a world of making educated guesses based on tiny samples to a world of making confident decisions based on the entire set of data. It's like the difference between trying to understand a picture by looking at one single pixel versus seeing the whole thing in brilliant high definition. So what can this AI toolkit actually do? Well, it's got a bunch of really sharp tools for specific jobs. Like it can spot weird anomalies like a duplicate payment or a strange journal entry instantly. It can predict potential fraud by looking at patterns over time. It can automatically check every single invoice against its contract. And it can even run forecasts to see if management's assumptions actually hold up. It's not just about finding mistakes that already happened. It's about questioning what might happen next. And look at what this does for the auditors themselves. Before AI, you can see that a huge chunk of their time was just eaten up by routine, almost clerical tasks. But with AI, that part shrinks way down. And what goes up? The time they spend on strategic judgment, the stuff that really requires a human brain. Basically, the AI takes care of the grunt work so the humans can focus on the important thinking. Okay, but you know what they say, with great power comes great responsibility. This technology is absolutely a game changer, but it's not without its own challenges. Let's get into Section 3, New Tech, New Rules. Yeah, this isn't some magic wand you can just wave. There's some really serious things to think about. First off, you're handling super sensitive financial data, so things like privacy and regulations are a huge deal. Then there's the AI models themselves. If they're biased or have errors, that's a big problem. You also absolutely need human oversight. An auditor can't just hit go and trust the result. They have to understand it, question it. And honestly, it means auditors need a whole new set of skills, like in data analytics.
Which brings us to our final section, and it's a really important one. Because this whole story isn't about AI replacing people, not at all. It's about how this tech creates something totally new, what we're calling the amplified auditor.
At the end of the day, it's all about partnership. It's about combining the best of both worlds. Look, AI is just incredible at processing data at lightning speed, spotting patterns, and finding those weird anomalies. But humans, we bring something that AI just can't: professional judgment, ethical reasoning, and just a gut feeling for the context of a situation. AI might flag something and tell you what looks weird, but it takes a human to understand why it matters. And this quote really just nails it. AI is not replacing auditors, it's amplifying their capabilities. It's not about taking away their job, it's about making their job bigger, better, and more impactful. It's a tool that lets them ask smarter questions and find much deeper insights. So what's the bottom line here? The result is just better audits. They're more efficient, so they save time and money. They're way more precise, so they catch things that would have been missed before. And maybe most importantly, they become proactive. They help companies see risks coming and deal with them before they turn into total disasters. So that leaves us with one final, pretty big question to think about. For over 100 years, an auditor's main job was to figure out what happened in the past. But now, if AI can handle the what almost instantly, what are the new questions auditors will start asking? Questions about the why, or maybe even the what if. The future of financial trust could really depend on the answers. Thanks for tuning in.